Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Princes of Pauper podcast. I am your host, Andrew Batnich, and with me today is the Reckless Worm, Josh Worth. How you doing today, man?
Hello. I'm doing pretty all right. Been a
Good.
pretty busy day.
It has been a busy day, and it has been a busy last week as far as Magic content goes. You have the complete rework of the Magic Online system to make it to where there are qualifiers for qualifiers for qualifiers for championships, which now all feed to the Pro Tour. You have Ultimate Masters today, 11/19, finally starting to get like real spoilers, and we're seeing incredible value to that set. And we're not really going to be talking about the value aspect of it, but my non-Pauper player side is incredibly excited to potentially be able to get some of these cards at an affordable rate.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Looking
we're gonna
at you, Karn.
just looking at you, like half of these cards, I'm like very excited to be able to pick some of these cards that have like weirdly gone up. Like the other day, I didn't realize a set of Reanimates were $100 again.
What the what?
Yeah, like the other day I was like looking over and messing around with bad Reanimator decks and Legacy just as a concept, like Buried Alive Arclight Phoenix type stuff.
Okay.
And because like Ryan Overturf tweeted about like I'm gonna play Buried Alive Arclight Phoenix at this like thing at my store, and I'm like, well, now I want to do this, but that's not what this podcast is about. We don't talk about Legacy. That's far away from War World.
Right. Talk about opposites.
Well, I mean, getting to on our Twitter post about the fact that we did vintage on the Get There stream this last weekend, or this last Tuesday, was an amusing fact just because of like, well, this Pauper stream is posting that we're playing vintage. Come watch me play vintage. I'm the Pauper guy.
Yeah, it's fine.
But so Ultimate Masters, and for those that aren't very well versed in this part, master sets are fantastic for reprints of cards you wouldn't expect them to be. And what I mean by that is master sets commonly reprint cards at a lower rarity. Masters 25, we saw a handful of mediocre, rare legendaries being put at uncommon. Stuff like that.
Didn't Seeker of the Way also get downshifted?
Yes, and normally these downshifts are completely irrelevant. If you're not talking about like just value, ability to grab a card, who cares about a downshift? Or World, we care a lot about a downshift.
Mm-hmm.
Pauper rules do not specify that the card was originally printed at a rarity. Pauper rules specify that the card has ever been printed on Magic Online at common rarity. So, yeah, the last master set, I don't think 25 gave us anything incredible. It gave us like Hordling Outburst. But like Iconic Masters downshifted Lead the Stampede and Seeker of the Way, which are both cards that are mainstays of the format right now.
Oh yeah.
Lead the Stampede just being incredibly important in Elves, and then Seeker of the Way being this weird tempo tool that also made it to where like the mono white heroic decks are playable because they have an extra heroic creature in heavy quotations.
Right. Prowess and heroic are.
I think it's really funny though to me because Seeker of the Way was played in the standard heroic deck too.
Yeah, because it's amazing. Bant heroic, man.
Seeker of the Way is a very powerful card. And I'm glad that people have started to play more decks that involve it. And I think we're going to see more of those in the future because of one card in specific that got downshifted. Today, on my lunch break, I was scrolling through Twitter. I saw Saffron Olive post, Fire and Ice has been downshifted to a common. And then over the course of the day, I have seen many different names. Evan Irwin and Arctic Meebo and a couple other people on Twitter talking about the fact that Fire and Ice is now a common, and this is a big deal for Pauper.
It's definitely going to help that blue-red control deck that we've been seeing. It's going to get more tools, and anything playing blue-red for that matter.
If I'm Entropy, who's the blue-red control aficionado that's constantly doing at least X2 at like each of these challenges, I am probably jumping for joy at the downshift of Fire Ice.
So exciting.
Fire Ice is not just a card that matters if you are the control players. If we look at, say, Fire and Ice's time in Legacy, it wasn't in Grixis control. It wasn't in these more late-game decks. It was a tempo piece. Rug Delver used to play one or two of them. And this is like a long time ago, but Rug Delver used to play a couple copies of Fire and Ice. And also just to note, this is the first time we have a forked lightning, or forked bolt rather, type effect at a relatively cheap effect. Being able to do like 1 to a creature, 1 to face is relevant when it comes to certain creatures. Being able to like kill off Delver Secrets and still get a damage out of it, or being able to just do something like kill 2 fairies in response to a Spell Stutter Strike.
Exactly.
There's a lot of very powerful things that the fire part of this card does, and then the ice part of this card, being able to slow something down, and being target permanent is huge. Because being able to, say, on your opponent's upkeep, tap down their bounce land, draw a card. Keep Tron off of their mana, draw a card. This is a very, very powerful tempo card.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of pushes Blue-Red Delver like over the top and just becomes the de facto deck to beat. Not just among the top 3, but the best deck in the format.
And the most threatening thing about that is if we look at our Pauper metagame, according to Goldfish right now, they're already at the top at an 11.46% share.
Yep.
And according to these statistics, it goes the 11% is at Delver, and then 7.81% Rainbow Tron. So they already have a heavy shift of the format. And we're seeing other Delver decks start to do really well. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but Blue-Black Delver has actually started to beat Mono Blue Delver in sheer number.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Which is something I want to definitely discuss. The Pauper metagame has done something it has not really done in a while. It shifted.
Right.
the top 8 decks of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, I knew were going to be here. And we'll definitely want to be talking about that. But yeah, Fire Ice is a huge downshift, and I expect to see 1 to 2, maybe even 3 copies of this card in a lot of decks moving forward, just because of the sheer power that it has. It's so easy to turn your other cards into this. Like, some of the Blue-Red Delvers are still on cards like Vapor Snag. Not a ton of them, but like I've still seen Vapor Snags hanging out with their other cards, or like maybe just cut down on some of the quantity of Augur of Bolus or something like that. And you just get this incredible tempo tool that makes it so hard for your opponents to actually keep up with what you're doing.
It also makes the mirrors with Blue-Red, or like Blue-Red versus Mono Blue Delver, kind of ridiculous. It's like, who has the fire first to kill off these fairies?
Like, in all matchups that aren't elves, it's almost better than Electrickery.
Yeah.
Because it has an extra mode.
Exactly.
There are just so many applications to this. There's one other downshift, and this one hasn't really got any real talk about it yet, but I did want to bring it up, is Reckless Worm. Reckless Worm is 3 red for a 4/4 trample with Madness 2 and a red. So this is Color Shift and Arrogant Worm. And the reason I want to bring this card up is because we've been seeing this increase in these Faceless Looting based mid-range decks. This plus a Looting is a 4 mana 4/4 with trample for free.
Yeah, it seems perfectly fine. If you're doing some sort of mid-range deck that does run Faithless Looting, I wouldn't be surprised if you start running it as a 1 or a 2 of, just to get like a good beater in there.
Also, I used to be very familiar with the name of the player that consistently would do well with black-red Tortured Existence. This is just like strictly better than the children vampire.
Oh,
that's like
yeah.
The 3/5 that they play, because it has like a keyword.
Exactly.
Also, red's a little bit easier than black to have laying around.
Yeah.
It's minor, but it definitely seems like that.
Mhm.
So with this idea that we're getting a powerful downshift in Fire and Ice, and then a non-ignorable downshift in Reckless Worm, do you think we're going to get another?
Um, if it does happen, I wouldn't be surprised, but I want to know what it is.
Is there any speculations of uncommons from outside of the Pauper bubble that you think wouldn't be too dangerous that you think could be brought into this format? I know it's kind of a hard question because there are a lot of Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah. The one that immediately pops to mind just because it's kind of funny and it has wrecked me in Modern before. Squelch being shifted from uncommon to common
The
would be
is
interesting.
that the one in a blue stifle that draws a card, or is that just the mono blue counter
That's
target
the
activated?
it's the stifle that draws a card.
Okay.
I think it would be pretty interesting, and you could also like use it as a tempo card because you can just like okay, s- squelch your Delver flip trigger.
Okay, I need to read the card just to make sure,
I gotcha.
because I'm
At
thinking
least I'm
about
pretty sure.
some weird things for it. So is it Squelch, one and a blue instant counter target activated ability draw
Oh,
card?
activated is not triggered.
Correct. It is not.
Ah,
You see, what I was thinking of, because there's a one blue one that only does triggers. I think
interesting.
you could
All
use it
right.
on like target your bounce land with some trigger on the stack, and just use it as a bad ramp spell that draws a card.
All right.
No, but okay. So this is Squelch in Pauper is quite literally counter target cycling effect, or you could counter ninjutsu.
Yeah.
Cause
Think.
I think.
Solid questions. Hmm.
And now I have to look up the rulings for ninjutsu.
I I've brought an interesting conversation to the table.
Is this an is it an? I mean, it's activating the ninjutsu ability, so it is an activated ability. Yeah, so they'll
Mhm.
just pick their creature up and then pay 2 mana, and you're like, nah, I can't.
Nah, dude. Nah.
Okay, I guess that would be a weird. That would definitely be a weird card. This is not like where I was expecting this part of this to go. Was directly first card to Squelch, but
Well,
here
it
we
just
are.
popped in my head, man.
No, you're fine. Um, some cards that I think could be safe at common rarity that are an interesting discussion point. Destructive Revelry.
Oh, that'd be real nice.
I think that's fine for the Pauper format. Red green is not really a color combination in this format.
Hmm.
But I like having better sideboard options if a deck for red green were to show up.
Right.
Also, and now this one might be a little bit of a stretch. Lightning Helix.
Ooh, that'd be a cool one to see. It would definitely make like Jeskai or just like Boros or Red White Weenie aggro like have a competitive edge against its burn counterparts.
You see, like,
Um,
Kadolta Boros already has a good burn matchup. You just draw
yeah.
so many cards. You play cards like Radiant Fountain.
Hmm.
You have the ability to go like Lone Missionary, Skyfisher at Lone Missionary again. You have a good burn matchup. Um, I mean, if they were, say, wanting to make the burn deck a little bit more competitive, I could see Skullcrack pulled down to common.
Ooh, yeah, that would actually be really cool because that also has that damage cannot be prevented clause.
Mm-hmm.
So that like you running Flaring Pain would almost have like no
Yeah, you would no longer have to
reason.
play that piece of garbage.
Right, you just play more Skullcrack.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of very interesting cards that could
Yeah.
show up.
What do you think they'll do Darksteel mutation because they have so many like high, I guess, just value cards in limited
I think
in this set?
Darksteel Mutation is a little more. It's just like an uncommon card for limited play.
Hmm.
You see, the issue with, like, say, the Lightning Helix argument is it just seems like it would be too powerful for limited play at common, but then they put Fire Ice in here at common, and that card is insane in limited.
Right.
And you just have all these, like Reckless Worm is a very powerful card for limited, especially with Faithless Looting and Wild Mongrel sitting right beside it on the thing. There's a lot of just, like, limited interactions within just the 5 common cards we've seen.
Right.
That I don't think they're really paying attention to that level, and I think they might want this format to be a high power level limited format.
Yeah. That seems like a solid way for them to go with this. Do you think Mono Green Stompy might get some more support with some uncommon downshifts, like maybe Dryad Militant? Is that one still an uncommon?
Dryad Militant is an uncommon. You see, the thing about Dryad Militant is I don't think it would really affect the Pauper Mono Green deck, because their 1-drops are, like, pretty good for what they want to be doing.
Right.
Like, you want Nettle Sentinel, you want Quirion Ranger, because Quirion Ranger lets you have low land count draws. Dryad Militant also doesn't have, like, that big of an effect on the format. I mean, it obviously matters. There's a lot of flashback spells.
Yeah.
And we're seeing more copies of Accumulated Knowledge being played. I don't know. Dryad Militant could be an interesting downshift, because I don't think it's, like, that dangerous. But also at the same time, I can see, like, the mono white aggro deck that's, like, super fringe maybe getting a boost because of a card like that.
Yeah. What about any of the charms?
Oh no. The playable charms are too good for this format, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like, Is It Charm?
Like, Is It Charm is not, like, the most powerful card. Like, it's the first card people have been cutting from, like, the blue-red Drakes, the Phoenix lists in Modern. And I'm more, like, worried about Boros Charm. And I feel like they wouldn't downshift one without doing the others.
Right. Just like how they're doing the Manlands.
Yeah, it's just like WotC doesn't really like printing cards that are in a cycle without the rest of its friends. Most of the time. But you're gonna see, like, Rune Snag, but you're not gonna see, like, Rite of Flame. So
please Rite of Flame.
I mean, why do we need Rite of Flame? It's not playable in anything but Legacy, and nothing in Legacy plays it except for Belcher.
Yeah, Rite of Flame's already a common, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I've played a couple decks that play it. Like, the one-land spy deck, the way that I was sideboarding was you sideboard into turn 1 Ulamog's Crusher.
Because of Rite of Flame?
Yeah, you Rite of Flame Seizing Song, and, Rite of Flame Seizing Song, and, like, Manamorphose to be able to smooth your draws out or something.
Yeah. Singing Spirit Guides.
It was not I was actually playing the guides in the main deck in, like, the stupid cycling creature that it was playing spot.
Nice.
It's not ideal. But my idea was, like, my opponent's gonna bring all their rest in pieces, or their relics in. So I'm gonna meme them. Here's my
I've gotta go all out.
Here's my Ulamog's Crusher. Boy, that deck is bad. So there's definitely a lot of cards that would be an impact on the format, but I think are safe and would hype this type of set. Like, think about the Lightning Helix downshift. Like, Lightning Helixes are $5-6 right now. Like, what are they sitting at? Just out of curiosity, we have they're down to 2. They're at a reasonable. I guess they were in Explorers of Ixalan. Oh, they were in a guild kit too. That's right. Yeah. Them getting that guild kit print tells me no, we're not getting Lightning Helix.
Right. What about anything in the I guess Golgari realm? Like, of course, Fatal Push would be like a ridiculous downshift.
No, that card cannot be downshifted.
Yeah, and
I mean, it could, but
break the format.
I don't think it would.
Really?
No, I don't think it's that much better than Disfigure.
Okay.
Like, what does it kill that Disfigure doesn't?
Well, when you get the Revolt trigger from, like, your Evolving Wilds, or just, like, I guess, like, sacrificing one of your own things.
So it kills Core Skyfisher.
Mm-hmm.
Palace Sentinels with Revolt.
Mm-hmm.
It hard answers an ATOG, which I think actually is better for the format than worse.
I see your point.
I'm trying to think of like other cards.
You can get Frog. Well, Frogmite gets hit by Disfigure.
Frogmite gets disfigured. You can get an Augur of Bolus. You can't hit Spire Golem. You can't hit. You still can't hit like Guardian of the Guild Pact with either one. I think that so it's like 2 cards Fatal Push is better against and 2 cards so Disfigure is better against. I don't think Fatal Push would actually be that bad of a downshift.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one for them to do.
Because like the primary would it doesn't kill Null Drifter.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
That's a really important one to be able to kill because there's a lot of those.
Oh yeah, Fatal Push is like a completely fine downshift. Never mind.
I think like the only reason that I wouldn't like to see it downshifted is because of like the price point of it. I like having like $8 uncommons every once in a while.
Yeah, especially when you pull a lot of them. That's how I made like a lot of value out of getting Kaladesh.
Free credit.
Exactly. Like I pulled a foil one time, and I was just like, "Oh, instant $50. Seems all right."
And it's my personal hatred of the card ATOG makes me perfectly happy with a Fatal Push downshift.
Exactly. I get so triggered by ATOG.
Alright. So, other than that, I don't think there's anything else that's like really, really that safe.
Yeah, because Inquisition of Kozilek got a downshift in one of the master sets to uncommon, but
no, it was originally uncommon. It got upshifted to rare in the conspiracy set and then back downshifted. Yes.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
IOK was originally an uncommon. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting options for what they could bring to the table, and I'm excited for. Is it Wednesday we're getting the full spoiler or something?
I think so.
Definitely next stream we'll have a lot more. We'll have some more to talk about it. But it's pretty exciting. So moving on from that, there was the other big primary thing that happened in the Magic community. Magic Online's got a rework. So let me pull it up just to make sure I'm saying it right.
All right.
Tournament rework.
Yeah, sadly, I don't play Magic Online, so I am lost when it comes to this one.
Okay, so the 2019 Magic Online Championship has been completely updated. So what it's saying is now we have our format challenges. So we have the 5-0, the 5-round leagues, and the challenges. So if you do well, or like I think it's if you win a format challenge, which is Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, and Standard, then you get to play for their playoff. If you win their playoff, you get to play for their format championship. And if you do well in the format championship, you go to the Mox.
Okay.
Also, if you do well in their competitive leagues, you get to go to the playoffs.
Okay.
Also, there are now open Magic Online Championship tournaments. The constructed leagues feed into Mox preliminaries, which feed into Mox playoffs. If you make it to playoffs, you go to the Pro Tour. I think if you do well in the playoffs, you go to the Pro Tour. And if you go to the Mox, the 24-player Magic Online Championship, you go to the Pro Tour. That's what it looks like to me. I haven't done a ton of like the reading over it, but the reason that this is a discussion point right now is Pauper format challenges, Pauper playoffs, Pauper format championships, competitive Pauper leagues. You can now play Pauper on Magic Online and win Pro Tour invites.
That's pretty awesome. Do you think that might, because like this is technically like a Wizards of the Coast decision to allow this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Wizards of the Coast is slowly moving towards like sanctioning Pauper?
What it seemed and what they've been saying is like, this is the specific thing. Yes, this means that Moto players will be able to qualify the Pro Tour playing Pauper, Vintage, Legacy, or Modern. Choose your format, succeed in it, and you can ride it all the way to the top. So what it seems like is they're rewarding players for spending all this time on these quote off-brand formats, the non-standard formats, by giving them more opportunities to play in.
Okay.
And because of this, what I'm going to assume is this means that if, say, your Pauper challenges go way up in player base, or your Pauper playoffs go way up, I think that might lead to stuff like down the line seeing competitive REL Pauper tournaments.
Yeah, I would love that.
What all we have to do is have a real guideline for what the rules of the format legality are.
Right.
In a play, it just needs to be consistent and obvious to players looking from the outside in. Because every time someone gets DQ'd or a game lost or a red blast or a blue blast.
Shout out to you, Lance. That was we still tease him about that.
Every time that happens, it is just a major problem. It is terrible, and it's not good for like the tournament system. And they are currently experimenting with there being competitive and friendly Pauper leagues on Magic Online at the same time.
That would be awesome.
So this is just, there's a lot of like discussion going on behind this, and like in all honesty, tax season comes around. Oh, I'm investing in the Magic Online
Yeah.
again. I will start looking into getting decks and start picking up the decks that I like, and I will start like legitimately playing on that format, which I don't really care for Magic Online, but if it means that I can do really well in this game by playing the format that I know that I'm good at, because every league I've played with like Kadolfo Boros, I 5-0'd.
Nice. Yeah, when tax season comes around, I'm going to get a better computer and probably heavily investing in Magic Online as well, just so I can play more Pauper.
It definitely seems like a good thing. But no, I'm really excited about these changes for the tournament system because it means just a lot for the format going forward.
Yeah, and also made it like way more linear as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to just see like these people that do well in off-brand formats. Like what I want from this is I want like a Pauper champion to make it to the mocks and then be interviewed at the mocks. Like, you're the guy that got here because you won the Pauper playoff. And then just be able to have that discussion and sit down with that person and have like narratives being built for players that play formats that aren't the GP formats. Because it should be the same for Vintage. Like, we should see people like, I don't know if Eternal Weekend, I don't think it does because it's run by Card Titan and they're not at like the level that SCG is. But like, the winners of Eternal Weekend events should go to the Pro Tour.
Yep. It's definitely worth.
Like, if the winners of the Invitational get to go to the Pro Tour, then like your best Legacy and your best Vintage player should go to. That's just my opinion. And like, Watsy can look in at Eternal Weekend and these major tournaments and see like there's huge player bases for them. They're like 10, 12 whatever round tournaments.
They're pretty large and in charge.
Like, those major events should award high level play. And I understand Wizards of the Coast wanting to keep the getting to the Pro Tour as a Wizards of the Coast event thing. But you should incentivize large events that aren't the ones that you run.
Exactly. It helps the community as a whole.
That's just my personal opinion on it. So moving on. So Magic Online, great changes. Makes me actually want to play that format. Play that the program rather.
F6, F6, F6.
I think it's just normal 6 now.
Oh, is it really?
It's just normal 6.
Okay. My F6 token now no longer means anything.
I mean, it still does. We all collectively know what it is. It's just like the people that call it Modo instead of
True.
MTGO. I wasn't even like around for it being called Modo instead of MTGO, but it's still like what I shortcut it to because it sounds better.
Yeah, true.
But so moving on from
Just overall better acronym.
absolutely. So the next thing we have to talk about is normally what we do. And it's been 3 weeks since our last recording because I was feeling a little under the weather last week. So we have 3 weeks of tournament content to be looking at. So there were 3 challenges. Let me pull each of them up just to make sure I'm getting the dates on them right. So there is the challenge on 10/28/2018, which is our last day of recording, so it wasn't up yet, I don't believe. Where Red White Weenie won.
Mm-hmm.
There's the challenge on 11/04, which Kadolfo Boros, like proper mid-range Kadolfo Boros, won. And then there's the challenge on 11/11 where Rainbowtron won. So each of these are a different deck won each time, which is good. Or a different deck 6-0'd each time. So if you look at it, we have the Red White Weenie deck, which is kind of the deck that's been popping up and doing really well once people started to realize Faceless Looting is a good card just in general. It's not just a modern card.
Oh yeah, because you have so many flashback cards and Pauper to utilize, so your discards don't mean like, oh, I'll never get to use that again.
You have so many pseudo flashback cards too, like Sacred Cat.
Yeah.
And then you also just get value from cards like Squadron Hawk.
My boy. I play that in Modern.
I really like the inclusion of Squadron Hawk in the Faceless Looting decks, just as another card to throw away.
I have yet another reason to use my promos.
No, but this red white aggro deck just seems really strong, and a good inclusion of cards like Seeker of the Way. You have a lot of the things that make these other decks powerful. It's interesting that there were 0 copies of Lightning Bolt, but 2 Flame Slashes instead.
They have to get rid of blockers on the ground somehow to make their Sacred Cats and Seekers of the Way get there.
Yep, no, absolutely. It makes sense. It's just an interesting decision. Rally the Peasants is a very powerful push card as well. One thing that I noticed is if you hit 6 mana and you just have 2 Seekers of the Way, that's just 8 damage.
Yep.
Per Seeker of the Way.
Yeah, you just win a game if you go Rally, Flashback Rally.
Or, yeah, 8 damage per Seeker. It's just 16, gain 16.
Seems okay.
But Seeker of the Way, just a very powerful card in these type of decks, and Prismatic Strands being a more and more inclusive, interesting card. I've been messing around with like the Jeskai build of this deck. I like a little bit more mid-range in my Magic. And definitely like Strands Battle Screech is just a very powerful way to be going right now.
Yeah. Like Prismatic Strands is a very annoying card to face against, because if you have like a playset of Prismatic Strands on each side, it just goes to a crawl.
It is a slog.
Yep. Also, would like to see a reprint of that if at all possible.
That would be a good reprint, but like it's not like incredibly expensive. There may be $1.50.
Yeah, but it would really be really cool with like new borders.
That's fair. Then we have Benitos winning with Kadolfo Boros. Pretty stock looking list here. Nothing all that special. 2 Screech, 2 Strands. 1 Bajoku Bog as his utility land.
Yep. Oh, one thing to add about the Bajoku Bog being in there, that makes your mono black matchup way better if you can continuously bounce the Bajoku Bog.
Which isn't that hard when you're a Core Skyfisher Boros Garrison deck, but
exactly.
I find it interesting that these decks are starting to move a little bit further away from the heavy cycle lands and go towards more basics. No copies of Radiant Fountain either in this list, so less of a concern on the more aggressive decks, it looks like.
Yeah. It wouldn't hurt for this list to like add a couple of those just to
I think you can easily turn like the 4th Windscarred Crag and the 2nd Plains into Radiant Fountains.
Exactly. And then, like, you could, if you did that, you could maybe cut down a Lone Missionary in your board into something else.
Absolutely. So moving from that on to the last one, and we see good old Rainbowtron.
My boy.
Anything special here? I mean, it looks like the actual proper 5-color Rainbowtron list.
Yeah, it's running one of Rolling Thunder, one Ulamog's Crusher. It's not running any
no white card. Nope, sideboard white cards. 2 different cops.
The Horror, Dinrova Horror. It's not running any copies of that.
Nope, just Flicker for Monomic Wall value.
Yep.
But Juku Bog is actually kind of a rare inclusion for these decks.
Yeah.
Interesting to see that as one of the tutor targets.
Hmm.
Pretty low on Shimmering Grotto effects. Sorry, go ahead.
Very good. I had to read Shimmering Grotto. I forgot what it did for a second. The Bajuka Bog, you can actually, like, a lot of people notice that Ghostly Flicker targets permanents, so you can flicker a land and or not permanents, but land, artifact, and creature.
Mm-hmm.
So you can target your Mnemonic Wall and the Bajuka Bog and just continuously do that, so they can do nothing if they're a graveyard-based deck.
Yeah, it's very, very good way to just lock your opponents out of the game. But yeah, pretty overall normal-looking Rainbowtron list. One thing I did want to bring up, Fire Ice, potentially a good one of in these lists too.
Yep, because they do, certain variants do heavily rely upon both blue and red. Of course, all of them rely on blue, but getting that red mana is not, like, a steep thing, and it can stop early aggression to get them that little edge they need to lock out the game.
Like, I've seen Aerial Volley as a sideboard option for Tron, or even sometimes a main deck option as a card that you can tutor for with Teachings, because its ability to just, like, ping down 3 Delver creatures. I actually strongly suggested it to one of our friends when he played Tron at the one Compariel event we did in Star City.
Right.
Which worked really well for him in the Delver matchups. But
awesome.
I just think that being able to have cards that are good against the Delver matchup is something that Tron really needs, because usually, in my opinion, that's kind of where its weak point is.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to do stuff like that definitely will improve it there. Alright, so that's Rainbowtron. Other than that, if we look at our X1 decks between the 3 of them, we had 5 total copies of Blue-Black Delver. Of the most 3 recent challenges, Blue-Black Delver is the best performing deck. With 5 copies. And that is the Delver of Secrets, Gurmag Angler, and what's the other creature they normally play? Augur Balls. Delver, Gurmag, Augur. And then removal spells and draw spells.
Yep. And it's pretty interesting with, like, some of these lists. They're running a lot of removal that you wouldn't expect, and that rely upon that non-black clause, like Ghastly Demise and Snuff Out.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, like, those cards just are not good against Gurmag Angler anyways.
Right.
But I guess they don't really, other than, because Victim of Night doesn't kill a Gurmag Angler either, because it's a zombie.
Yep.
There's just no good ways in black to kill a Gurmag Angler in this format.
Besides just, like, sack effects. That's
actual murder.
Yeah, actual murder. Let's go.
Yeah, these blue-black decks, they're all relatively similar. They're all doing a lot of the same thing. You have your Edicts in your sideboard for that Gurmag Angler mirror. But, I mean, their primary win condition against Gurmag Angler is Counterspell.
Right.
Don't let it happen. I like 3 copies of Echoing Decay a lot. In some of these lists. Just multiple Echoing Decays. That card is very good in the right format.
Yeah,
You died for me.
One, the same one that Rainbowtron was in. He's running 4 days.
Which one?
In his Blue-Black Delver 5/1, named by Letluck on the November 11th, 2018 Pauper Challenge. It's like number 11692432. If you
1692432. Is it the Frucow? No, it's the other one. Look, there
Yeah.
he is. Sorry.
You good?
Yeah, 4
He's been 4
days. I mean, I think these decks should just be on as many days as they can really get themselves to be on.
Yeah, you're on a really kind of aggressive tempo plan, even more so than the blue-red or the mono-blue control decks, because you're just kind of relying on your Delvers and your Gurmags to just continuously deal damage, and then you rely on your kill spells, dazes, and counter spells to just buy you time to kill them incrementally.
So what do you think about, in comparison to this build of it, to the blue-black Reanimator build? The one that plays the hexproof Serpent? Are you familiar with this card?
I know. What?
Let me pull it up, because I know it did well at one of the challenges. I just have to find it real quick. I'm very well prepared.
Yeah, I've seen red-black Reanimator, but I don't believe I've seen blue-black Reanimator.
So, where is it?
Side note, red-black Reanimator, really inconsistent, but really fun to play.
But that comes out with a lot of those decks right there. Just poorly inconsistent.
Yeah.
Come on. I saw it earlier. I'm so upset. But there is a 7-mana 7/6 with hexproof and cycling for 1 blue.
What the hell?
And so you play that, you play Gurmag Angler, and you play the full 8 copies of Metal Note and Thought Scour. And then you exhume them.
Interesting.
It sure is a pile.
Hold on, I'm going to Reddit. Because I think I know which one you're talking about.
Because it did well at one of the challenges
Striped Riverwinder?
Yes.
Is that the one? Okay.
There he is. The man.
Yeah. Hygom Scheming. I have not seen that card in forever.
I don't think... I think that's going a little bit deep.
A little bit.
Okay, I found a list of it.
And Ideas Unbound.
I found the list I was looking for. I sent it to you in Discord.
Alright, I'm excited.
But yeah, Metal Note, Thought Scour, Exhume, Rush of Vitality. This deck went 3-3 at the 1028 challenge.
Okay. Yep.
Spontaneous Mutation.
I gotta read some of this stuff.
You're not familiar with all these?
Yeah, not with Rush of Vitality.
What about Spontaneous Mutation?
The answer is no, but...
Rush of Vitality being +1/+0 indestructible lifelink to a creature on a 2-mana instant.
Spontaneous Mutation is real fun.
Spontaneous Mutation being a blue enchantment with Flash. They give the enchanted creature -X/-0, where X is your graveyard count.
Very interesting. Vampiric Link.
Yeah, you gotta put a Vampiric Link on your Striped Riverwinder and just gain 5 every turn.
Good lord.
But yeah, this deck has always been interesting. It's always been one of the decks I've wanted to put together because it's kind of goofy.
Does this seem fun and goofy? It's pretty nice.
It just seems like strictly worth Blue-Black Delver.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing Blue-Black Delver, but you decided you wanted to win less games on average.
I mean, it's pretty cool that you get to play Mental Note plus Thought Scour in your deck.
Just a chill 8 Thought Scours or whatever.
And 7. You run the 7, and then the Nihil Spellbomb and the Vapor Snags to make sure that your opponent gets no value out of your exhumes. How fun!
All right, so yeah, you had the 5 copies of Blue-Black Delver at the X1 for the challenge, 2 copies of Izzet Delver, 1 copy of Mono Green Stompy, 3 copies of Rainbow Tron, but don't let that confuse you. They were all slightly different, one being blue-red based, one being Teamer based, and one being blue-green based. You had 1 copy of Blue-Black Control, 2 copies of the Boros Weenie deck, 2 copies of Goblins, 1 copy of the mid-range Fiddles of Boros, and 1 Mono Blue Delver. So yeah, what this is kind of telling me is that the format has moved into a place to where decks like the Gurmag Angler Delver deck can capitalize on what a lot of these other decks are doing. It feels like this Echoing Decay, 3 Echoing Decay Delver deck seems really good in the specifically in the Boros Weenie matchup.
Yeah, and anything that's running a token-based strategy like Battle Screech, or you can just get like value out of playing against elves with Echoing Decay.
So I have a quick question for you. Did we talk about this black-red Tron deck from a league on Halloween? No, it can't be because we haven't streamed or done something since then.
No, but there's a black-red Tron deck. Hello?
Yeah, I'll send that one to you. So moving on from that information, there wasn't really any really spicy things in the challenges.
Self-assembler.
But there are some spicy things in spicy things in the challenge. But there are some spicy things inside the leagues. So we'll start with this league that got posted on Halloween. Because Black Red Tron, 4 Self-Assembler, 4 Wretched Griff, 2 Ulamog's Crusher, 3 Firebolt, 4 Chainer's Edict, 2 Rolling Thunder, a Terminate, 3 Read the Bones, 1 Evankar's Justice, a Wrecking Ball, 4 Expedition Map, 4 Prophetic Prism, 1 Rakdos Signet, 4 Pristine Talisman, and then land.
Yep, you got to buy that time with those Pristine Talismans, man.
Also, it gives you the Avankar's Justice win condition.
Yep.
So, Josh.
What? Me likey.
What's going on here, man?
You are just continuously pumping out self-assemblers and gaining card advantage with your Wretched Griffs and countering Delver that way.
So my favorite thing about Wretched Griff is you don't ever emerge it.
Yeah, ever.
I guess you could theoretically on like turn 6 play your second self-assembler and then like Prophetic Prism into it if you're just like haven't hit Tron or something.
Yeah, if you need to go that far.
But boy, this is a pile.
I like it a lot. It is even running
Wrecking Ball?
Yeah, Wrecking Ball, man. You gotta win the Tron matchup.
You gotta win the mirror.
Yeah, that's how they do it, man. And they're also still running the 1 copy of Haunted Fengraph so that they can get back one of their bombs.
They're assorted creatures at random.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love this deck list.
Mm-hmm. Notice that it's running Shattering Pulse in its board and another Wrecking Ball. That seems pretty cool. I haven't seen a lot of
liked Shattering Pulse in the Tron sideboards.
Yeah, because you just have so much mana, you can just start getting there.
Yeah, it's like slightly better cap size and affinity matchups.
Right. And for some reason, I read Shattering Pulse is having Replicate and not buyback. So yeah, Shattering Pulse that is a lot better.
That one's Shattering Spree.
Yeah, you right.
All right. So that's Black Red Tron by the False Muffin. Okay. So now we have
one true muffin.
Rakdos Control by Steve Jeltz.
I really like it.
It's mono black control, splash, lightning bolt, and terminate. Yep. And a better sideboard.
And you also have a electric in your main board, so you don't just like straight up lose to like a really fast elves.
Yeah, because you can't always rely on Crypt Rats in that matchup.
I've dabbled with something like this before. I didn't include the Electric main, and I didn't add Faithless Looting. Literally, all I did was like the Lightning Bolt, the Terminate, and then like some extra stuff in sideboard, kind of like what this list is doing.
Your Pyroblasts and your Gorilla Shamans, because they just like clean up those matchups.
Exactly. Like a Tog is the bane of Mono Black's existence, so Gorilla Shaman, my main man.
I love Artifact Monkey. He's good.
Do you buy the facing left or facing right ones?
I have about 8 of each.
Okay.
Mostly by availability.
True. I think it's the facing left ones that are like 50 cents more than the other ones, or $1.
Is that one the Mama? Yeah, Mama Shaman is more expensive than the other Shaman.
Yeah.
Alright, but yeah, Rakdos Control, not a lot to talk about. Just it looks like it did well on both the 1031 League and the 1114 League. The list's looking a little bit different. no Faceless Looting in the second list. 4 Terminates instead of just 1. Or instead of 3. And then pretty reasonably similar sideboard.
Yeah.
Reaping the Graves instead of the weird
Grim Harvest
Retrace card.
Yeah, I still think Disturb Burial is just better.
I like Reaping the Graves. It's like one of my pet cards, so.
Yeah, you can definitely get a lot of value out of it. The one list by Steve Jeltz is running the Siphon Life in the board.
Interestingly, the black-red build by M9 Surmu is playing Liliana's Spectres in replacement of Phyrexian Ranger.
Interesting.
So he doesn't want more cards. He wants you to have less cards.
I see his reasoning there.
4 Night's Whispers. How many Night's Whispers? Both of them on 4. Okay. So, like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Also, with Liliana Spectre, you can just trade with a Delver.
Yeah, it being a flying creature is pretty relevant.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on from that, on the 11-14 league, we have Toto Isle with Grixis Control. And I saw this deck list and fell in love because this is amalgamation.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off, 3 Beetleback Chief.
Whew.
Which is a 4-mana 2/2 that makes 2 1/1s with it.
You gotta get that Zerg strategy, man.
Then 4 Muldrift for 4 Gurmag Angler. And then this is the Faceless Looting deck. The only blue card in main deck other than Muldrifter is 4 Accumulated Knowledge. 3 Addle. Which is...
Wait, what the heck?
1 and a black sorcery. Choose a color. Thoughtseize a card from target player's hand of that color.
Ooh. That's nice.
So it is worse distress, but easier to cast?
Uh-huh.
It's a weird card.
Yeah. Huh.
1 Arc Lightning, a couple Terminates, 3 Chainer's Edicts, Bolts, Flame Slashes, Fire Blast, Firebolts. Reasonable land base.
Arc Lightning.
Nothing all too special. And then the sideboard. And then the sideboard happens. 2 Gorilla Shaman, 2 Nihil Spellbombs. Those are normal. 4 Kiln Fiend. 3 Cartouche of Ambition. 4 Stone Rain.
Yeah. 4 Stone Rain for that Tron, man. You got.
It's also good in just like all the bounce land matchups, but
yeah, you just get added tempo, and then your Kiln Fiend just gets there.
The Kiln Fiend it kills me. I'm dead.
Yeah, all you have to do is like cast 1 spell a turn, and it's like 4.
Yeah, just 4. Yeah, and just like Cartouche of Ambition is also like a weird card for this deck to be playing. It gives your Gurmag lifelink
against something. Yeah, that's true. And also like makes it bigger than their Gurmag.
It's like fine against elves, I guess.
Yeah, but I think elves just has the capacity to not care about that and just like keep activating their Timberwatch elves and kill you.
There's just so many things because he doesn't have any clean answers to a large board. His widest board clear is Arc Lightning. There are no copies of Electrickery in this deck list.
Arc Lightning and maybe Echoing Decay if he's lucky.
How is Arc Lightning better than Electrickery? I guess because it can go 2 and 1.
Yeah, you could kill a Nettle Sentinel and
you could like kill a Seeker of the Way and a Sacred Cat. I guess like who cares? I'd rather kill all of the things. Just this deck list is an amalgamation, and I want to buy it.
Yeah, it seems really fun.
I want to resolve an Addle.
Yeah. Okay. So, question is Castigate just like I know it's not in those colors, but it's just strictly better than Addle, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it exiles the card and it's just normally Thoughtseize. Like Castigate's played in the Pestilence decks.
Yeah.
It's just Addle.
I didn't know that card existed
That's
until
the
today. I'm
title.
not going to lie.
That's the title of this episode.
Just Addle.
Addle.
What does that word even mean? Definition. Come on, Merriam-Webster. Give me the.
I didn't know.
Give me the sauce. It just means rotten, and then the second definition is confused.
I'm rotten and confused by the inclusion of 3 copies of Addle in this Beetleback.
It can both be an adjective and a verb. There's both an adjective and a verb.
So there's one last deck that I wanted to bring up, and that is also in the same league by Andinoko, which is Mono Black Zombies.
I'm definitely building this one, I'm not gonna lie.
This is not Dark Ritual 1-drops zombies. Like the aggro, the $5 aggro deck that you buy into Pauper with. No, this is proper Gem Palm Polluter zombies. This is 3 Carrion Feeder, 4 Festering Mummy, 1 Shambling Goblin, 3 Shepherd of Rot, 4 Sultai Emissary, 3 Ghoul Razor, 2 Gutless Ghoul, 3 Grey Merchant of Asphodel, 3 Gem Palm Polluters. Ghoul Caller's Chant, Chainer's Edict, Nameless Inversion, which is a sweet inclusion here. I really like Nameless Inversion in my Ghoul Caller's Chant Ghoul Razor deck.
Yeah, because you can get back your Nameless Ghoul Callers, can't you?
Yes, you can. Vicious Offering is a pretty unique removal spell. I didn't even think about it as far as Pauper play went.
Yeah, I was playing in Limited and I thought about it, but I was like, what deck could use it though? Like a token list that's running black? But nah, zombies.
I like how he's on 2 Rakdos Carnarians just to be able to play a Karoo land, I guess. There's no red spells.
Interesting.
And then sideboard looks like Duress, Sylvic Lifestaff, another Edict, 2 Crypt Creeper, which is 2 mana, 2/1 that you can sacrifice it to exile target card from a graveyard. 2 Combod Witches, another Shepherd of Rot, an Infernal Caretaker. 3 in a black 2/2 with Morph, 3 in a black. When it is turned face up, return all zombie cards from all graveyards to their owner's hand.
That is interesting.
So
it's definitely going to turn some heads. It's going to turn some heads if you play that in a tournament. Because when you play a Morph in Pauper, everyone's just like, what is it?
Just what is that card? You see, I want to know if there's a list that can just play 2 copies of this in its main deck instead. I don't like Gutless Ghoul.
Probably.
I don't understand what that card does. Who cares?
If you're facing, I guess if like Burn's getting you, you can just.
But you're a Grey Merchant deck. I guess Gutless Ghoul means that Shepherd of Rot kills you less often.
Yeah, I guess it's like insurance against your own cards.
Because Shepherd of Rot is the Priest of Titania for zombies. It is 1 in a black, 1/1 tap. Each player loses life for the quantity of zombies in play.
That'll probably eventually blow somebody out because somebody doesn't realize that they have a Gurmag Angler in play and just
like
gave them the last deal damage. Yeah.
That wasn't noticed on stream on the open stream this last weekend when a Liliana emblem was in play and he didn't get an extra zombie for his Gurmag Angler.
Ooh, okay, cool.
But no, I like it. I like the thought of Infernal Caretaker in the main deck. 2 copies of that card.
Yeah, because like.
I think it's better than the 1 Read the Bones.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you don't really need card advantage in this sort of deck. You just need to constantly recur your threats.
I think the second Vicious Offering should just be another Nameless Inversion.
Yeah, I would say so.
There's a lot of interesting decisions, but like, no, this deck seems sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like only 3 Carrion Feeders, but 5 Festering cards. It's weird. There's a lot of things that I'd like to see potentially change, but I mean, Andinoko, I mean, he's the one that 5-0'd with it, so.
Yeah.
It's somewhere that I'd like to look. This is a weird deck, and I'd like to mess around with this.
Yeah, Carrion Feeder is the ATOG of zombies.
Sure, man. There are no grave crawlers to do busted stuff with it, so.
I mean, you're right, but still.
Alright, so wrapping up, if you were to play in the challenge this weekend, what would you play?
Ooh.
Personal preference or because you think it's really good right
Honestly, you go first. I gotta think on this.
now? Okay. If I were to play, I think I would try one of the builds of the Jeskai Faceless Loading mid-range decks. I think they seem really good. They play these really weird games where they can be a control deck, they can be an aggro deck. It has like Jeskai colors is the best colors for sideboarding in the format, so you have like really good sideboard options. I'm not sure like on a concrete list, but I think that something along those lines is probably where I'd want to be.
Since it's been seeing relatively like more success recently, and I also want to just dabble with the deck, Blue Black Delver is probably what I would play.
Okay. No, the deck seems really well positioned right now, and there's a lot of different options that you can take because the black card's very interesting. Maybe you can put some Addles in there.
Yeah, man. Addles and probes. Good old fashioned probe.
You know the color. The color that you're getting. Ooh, it's so good. How are there no probes in that deck? If there's Kiln Fields in this, I had more questions now.
More questions than you have answers.
Oh man, no, but there's definitely was a lot to talk about this week, and I don't know if we're gonna do an episode next week or two after that. We'll figure it out as we go. But no, there was a lot to talk about. I guarantee you there will be a lot to talk about next episode once we get the full UMA spoiler.
Oh yeah.
But for as of right now, we appreciate all of y'all for joining us. This has been the Princes of Pauper podcast. If you want to talk with us over the week, you can tweet us at Princes of Pauper, or my personal one at Necros the King, or Josh, is it Chittering Rat or is it Phyrexian Rager? I don't remember.
It's Phyrexian Rager.
Josh is at Phyrexian Rager. Thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you in a couple weeks.